Hola, hola. Buenos días. Wow. Hola, buenas. We're getting the chicken wings in. Buenas. Buenos días. Buenos días. Slay Queen. Good morning. Sí, hablo español, but I am an English speaker. All right. Today we are making wings. Oh, you speak Spanish too? Qué chévere. Very nice. So we're gonna be making chicken wings today, something quick. Wings don't take a long time. Because I had a party here Friday and I didn't have time. You're Mexican. Hola. Mucho gusto. Pero el show se hace en inglés, no en español. Hola. Yes, I am in my outfit because I'm going out right after the live. They have a gastronomy event in Cologne. And if you know anything about Cologne, Panama, you know it's a hub for Caribbean culture. So they have an event they call Sabores de Cologne, Flavors of Cologne. Good morning, Ray Gibson. ¿Cómo estás? And you don't know how to type Spanish. What does that mean? I don't understand. But anyway, so they had the event. It started yesterday. And this is an event that they had done 2 different places in the last couple of years. And every time I went, it was amazing. All right. These are going to go in the oven, okay? And usually after I cook, I'm pretty tired and I don't usually go anywhere. Sometimes I'll grab a movie. Uh-oh. Right? But today I think I feel well enough to just go catch the bus. I am in Panama. Where are you, Slay Queen? I don't see my folks, my regulars. All right, and then with the chicken wings, then when the wings are almost done, I'll do the sauce. Oh, you're in the US? Okay. I'll do the sauce to toss the wing in, and then I'm gonna cook a little bit of rice and peas. And that's gonna take about 30 minutes, so that's about the same. And I cooked the peas overnight. I soaked them overnight. And then today, this morning, 15 minutes. These are red navy beans, but you could use any kind of beans, right? And if you're from Mexico, you know los frijoles. We love those. But I want to go ahead and do that. And then I need to do a side of veggies. I have tomatoes, spinach. I have a bit of squash. What else do I have? I have spinach, carrots, and a little bit of pepper. So I'm going to do a medley. And because, you know, I have to have veggies. You have to have veggies. So I am going to use this pot. Yep. All right. I have to always make sure I have the right top. Right? Thank you, Say Queen, and you subscribe. Yes, we talk about Panama, moving to Panama, living in Panama, and then I cook. I am doing a food series. We're still looking at what they eat for breakfast in Panama, and then I'll move to the other. Thank you so much. And then I'll do the other meals. And then we'll do snacks and other things that they do here. Because I believe strongly that living in a country means that you learn about the country. They are, you know, their culture, their food, their ways, and all that. All right. So we are going to season our rice very well. Thank you, thank you. And I don't see my regular folks here. Nobody's saying the people that usually vibe with me here, but that is okay. You know, I always believe that in life, you be faithful. Whatever you're doing, you stick to it. And especially if it's something that brings you joy. And for me, cooking is just something I do because I love it, right? All right, so we got our beans. We're gonna turn the stove on. And this pot tends to, heat very quickly. So I always have to keep an eye on it. And we start with onion and garlic, always. That's why I can't do my nails and have these fancy nails, because my hands are always in food. I'm chopping. I don't know. I see some of these nails and I'm like, ooh, that doesn't even look clean. All these curly things, you know, with dirt can get, you know, all underneath. No, that's a no bueno for me. All right, this is my herb oil. one lasted a while, so I gotta make some more. You know, this dress is just a lot longer than it used to be, unless I'm really shrinking. Garlic. I had chopped garlic for the chicken earlier, and I think I did too much, so I left a little bit, and I'm going to need more for the wing sauce. Hello, good morning. You know, I'm always here on Sunday morning, so if someone is not tuned in, not my fault, because I have been faithful, unless I'm traveling. And even when I travel, I show things, you know, like if I go to a farmer's market, so that means you gotta keep an eye on this pot. It's very shallow. And things burn quite easily. So yesterday, of course, I didn't cook anything. I just kind of lounged around. I had multiple things to do, you know, classes. And I did a short live yesterday about, somebody asked me to talk about downsizing and decluttering. So good. Hola. All right. We are going to, now that, you know, it's nice and fragrant, then we're going to put the beans in. Now, I didn't do a lot because I don't want to cook a lot of rice. Meat and rice do not mesh very well. The rice makes me bloated. Which is really sad because rice is a staple food from my childhood. I'm squeezing the garlic that I had cooked the beans in. That's flavor. You don't want to get rid of that, right? And then we use the same water. All right. Take the bay leaf out. So we're going to toast those beans and the rice. And then we season. And before you know it, it's done. I have so many little pieces of, little bags of leftover rice. Let's see. This is arroz con coco. I'm gonna put the rest in here. And we're also gonna add coconut milk in this one. I don't know what they did, but the coconut smell is really strong. I don't know, I think I still like to just put the coconut milk in there myself. Oh well, let's just finish it off. Alright, we're going to rinse the rice a couple of times. I can't even imagine all what that rice has gone through. Hi Maria, I'm good. ¿Cómo estás, amiga? Alright, so let me season this a little bit before I put the rice in. Pepper. Someone said yesterday or the day before, I don't think I've seen you cook rice and peas. Well, this is your chance. If you missed the beginning, you can go watch the replay. So this is adobo, black pepper. Gonna put some paprika. And of course we're gonna do a bouquet garni, right? At the end, not at the end, just to build more flavor. Now we cook the the beans with bay leaves and fresh garlic. So it goes to rice. Now if you're watching a Jamaican cook rice, they don't cook it the same way. But I think the results is the same. It's just what you were raised with, you know, how you were taught. Now this part, I wasn't taught like this. This is from culinary school. When they say you just toast, when you toast the rice, it just ties in the flavor. So at this point here, that's where I'm going to put my bouquet garni. I'm going to put a whole habanero pepper in here. And with this pot, I am always conscious of scraping the bottom so it doesn't stick. And also, you just get all the flavor from the bottom of the pan. The chefs used to say, this is gold. Don't give that up because, you know, I don't eat bland food. My food has to be seasoned. And you see it's got a beautiful color already. Let's get the bouquet, meaning some cilantro. Ooh, look at this. It's a big one. And then some fresh thyme. Love fresh thyme. And I'm gonna put a couple of bay leaves. And then we tie it and we throw it in there. Now, the Jamaicans would put pimiento in here. I don't. I use pimiento sometimes. Like when I'm making the jerk seasoning here, I use a lot of that. Is it pimiento? Allspice. It's what you call a bouquet garni. It's good to know how to cook delicious rice and peas. There you go. But you need a bouquet garni, okay? And you see the Jamaican would throw some green onions in there. You could do that too. Anything that, you got veggies in, it's going to. So now I'm going to add some coconut milk because the rice has kind of toasted a little bit and all the flavorings. That's what I want. Then a little bit of coconut milk. I watched this guy yesterday. I think he's in a restaurant, a Jamaican restaurant somewhere, maybe in Brooklyn area in the US. And he had a pot. But when you cook that much, they're putting stuff in there that, all the bouillons and squeezing things for flavor. And here I think I put a little bit too much water. So I'm going to turn my heat to make sure it cooks fast. And again, with rice, it's 2-to-1 ratio. You could go lower if you'd like, maybe less liquid. I just think I added a little bit too much, so I'm gonna make sure it cooks down. Alright. This is when you kind of make sure your taste is okay. Not culantro. Thyme. We have thyme in bukigalmi, but we're gonna put a little bit of tomillo, which is dry thyme. Because you know, thyme is something that we always use. Marjoram, no. Romero, no. Maybe parsley, a little bit of parsley. Oregano. But I have a parsley here. But you know, when I was growing up, they would put cloves in there. You soak your red kidney beans. I do, and then in the morning, I put a couple of bay leaves in there as well, and then it takes like 15 minutes for the beans to cook, right? Cook really fast. All right. So I'll keep looking at that taste to make sure before it's the water is totally evaporated that the taste is on point. Actually, it's really good now. It's really good. All right. So the chicken's in the oven. I marinated the chicken just like I showed you guys on Friday with all the herbs and the ginger. Yes. Yes, scallions. Coconut milk is a game changer. I agree. I agree. I mean, I put coconut milk in my smoothies, in my rice, in my curries. I put coconut milk in almost anything I cook. All right? I mean, it's good fat. It doesn't have a fair amount of fat, but it's good fat. So now we're going to do our veggies. Veggie mix. I thought maybe I'll pop some, I have some leftover potatoes. So let's just roast the rest of the potatoes. Why not? This is what this meal is all about. It's just using what I have left over in the house because I didn't go to the store. Alright, so it's just, I have a piece of squash, so I'll throw it in there as well, maybe a little bit later because the squash would cook faster than the potatoes. And I'm always mindful of the bottom of the pan because I'm not using my aluminum pan. My aluminum pan can withstand a much higher level of heat. There you go. I have been watching these Asian dramas. I'm like, Maggie? Ooh. I don't watch TV really. I don't know what's happening on television, US television. Here, there are a couple of dramas in the evening. Sometimes I'll watch, but I get bored very easily with the storylines. You know, you get older and you're watching these romantic things and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like, run, get away. I'm cutting my potatoes like this size. This is leftovers. I had some that I put in the curry chicken on Friday. And I have these little ones. You know what I have a hard time seeing here in Panama are red potatoes. I have a hard time finding that. Thanks, Maggie, for sharing the last dinner party. Thank you. I'm only sorry that I was not there. Listen, this lady's cut up. And then at the end, we had mimosa and we went to the rooftop to get that view from the 66th floor. Priceless. But there was a group of young men there. They didn't bother us, but we didn't stay long. And you know what I do with my potatoes? I dust them with a little bit of turmeric, and then they get that beautiful yellow color. Ooh. Oh, I think I definitely added too much water in this rice. Oh, Maggie, what are you doing? Just a tad too much water, but I'll see if I can save it. I kind of like my rice a little bit grainy. I don't like pasty rice. But just a little bit of extra water can change the dynamic. Another easy recipe we can do one day is chicken parmesan, because that is for people who don't like to cook, that is an easy meal that you can have with anything, pasta, veggies, yes. And there is coq au vin, which is chicken and wine sauce, that is so good. There is chicken cordon bleu. I mean, there's so many recipes with chicken. And I remember at the restaurant when we were making grilled chicken salad or grilled chicken sandwich, we would get the chicken breast. We wouldn't have to marinate it. We would just slice it, not too thick, throw it on the grill, and just put, what we used to use was the Italian dressing. Game changer. That's all we used to use. But now I would have used my herb oil. Alright. I'm doing this because that gives me extra things around the house that I can cook, I can eat, because I don't cook for the rest of the week. I don't. So, hola, whoever's watching. Somebody's saying, hey baby. I don't know about baby, but hello. All right, I'm doctoring the rice. So it doesn't burn. Nor get too pasty. Now when it's dry, I want it to be as dry as possible. So I lower the heat, let it dry, let all the fluid evaporate, right? And then I'm going to top it with a little bit of butter. Jamaicans put their butter in the water. I don't. We always top with butter, called Monte au beurre. All right? These are two larger potatoes. I can't remember when I bought them, but they will work. I mean, I'm not gonna let them go bad. I'm gonna find a way to use them. I prefer to roast my potatoes than putting it in soups and stuff. I don't know why, but I do. Oh yes, it is. Then I'm going to get the rest of that squash, and then I'm going to toss it in there in about maybe 10 minutes, because the squash cooks so fast. I adore squash. And there's so much of it here. But I was telling some of my ladies yesterday that I went to a farmer's market, and the guy was spraying the food with insecticide right there in the middle of the street. So we have to really be careful. Yeah. Ooh, yes. I'm gonna have to do something with my chicken quickly, but I'm gonna flip him. My wings. Yes. Ooh. You said the wings? We're gonna flip them. It's a lot of liquid. Okay, so now we need to put the butter on and let this cook. Ooh, I'm finally ready to open my other butter. Oh, I just did. I don't know if you remember when the girl gifted me 2 of these. And here, sometime I see Kerrygold, which would be a pound, would be like $10 to $12. This one is Anchor from New Zealand. Very, really good. Unsalted butter. All right. When my kids were younger, I used to save oil, like if I used to cook pork, fried pork, and the oil, we used to reuse that. I haven't had that in ages. So just a little bit of herb oil. Well, you know that rice is going to be banging, right? Alright. So we're going to, some people put foil to just, but I don't, because as long as you have a tight lid, you're good. And even in school, the chefs were saying, well, you can cook it in the oven. Yes, and the other day I saw a young chef, she's got a restaurant in Brooklyn, and she cooked this rice in the oven. You can. I don't see any reason why I should, unless I need the space, right? If you're cooking a lot, having 5 burners is probably going to be a challenge. Around Thanksgiving. Yes. Woo. So what I do with my potatoes, I use the herb oil with all the herbs. I want the herbs this time. Sometimes I skim the top because I don't want the herb, but this one I do. All right. And there is salt and pepper in here, so that's good. Turmeric. I dust it with a little bit of turmeric, so when they come out, they're nice and golden. And remember, turmeric is good for you, right? as long as you don't overdo it. Ooh, look at this beauty, huh? Make sure all the potatoes get a little bit of that love. And in the oven they go. Alright, so now we're going to turn our wings over. Then I'm going to do the veggie mix and then make the sauce for the wings. Because you know we have to toss them in. But now, before I do that, I want to taste this thing here and make sure my flavors are on point. Because when it was raw, I couldn't do it. Ooh, yeah. Yum. Okay. Maybe just a little bit of salt. And when I do that, then I move it around to make sure it's well distributed. And then now I'm going to just flip them. 30 more minutes, they will be done. Chicken wings do not take a lot of time. That's why it's like it's an easy dish. You know, when you think of how many people there are in China, and then I'm watching these shows, and I'm like, I know there are so many kids, and there are some of the shows from Taiwan, and not so much Japanese, a little different, but okay. So now I am going to baste a little bit, just make sure my chicken wings are flavorful. That's a lot of liquid though. I don't know why we have so much liquid. I think they should call me the flavor lady because I'm obsessed with flavor. I cannot stand bland food. No bueno. Yep. Acid is on point, the salt is good, so we are going to put that back. All right. Okay. So let's just finish with peeling the squash and getting it ready. So I don't need the rest of that pea water. I think I had enough. So, and I'm not saving it either. So that goes. I'm just so upset with Facebook, YouTube. If you have a party of some sort and there's some music playing, you try Jamaican version, delicious something about their seasoning. Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly right, because when you go to the Caribbean, you have people from different countries. They can do the same thing, but there is a little bit different version. And one example is this soup that everybody makes, but they all make it different. and they call it something different. We call it subjumo. They call it sancocho here. And then I was watching a show about a couple visiting Guatemala, and they're like, "Oh, the national dish is this soup," and I'm well, I've heard that before. We have a soup as a national dish here in Panama, so we're not that different. All we need to do is respect each other's culture and enjoy. You know, I love Trinidadian food. Jamaican food, yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not, you know, saying it's the best. I love a good jerk chicken though. Now when they do it on the, you know, on the fire, ooh, yes ma'am. But you know, fish, escabeche and all, I mean, it's like all the same to me. Fried fish here, if they don't season it, you know what I say about seasoning? I believe that I can cook the chicken thighs and leg the same way you prepare it. Yes. If you don't eat wings, that's perfectly fine. I just happen to like the wings. Everybody's got their own choices and likes and dislikes. And we can all live together and respect each other. You know what I love about Trini food is that dal curry thing they make with the flour. Oh my God. And then you eating that with some soup or some bean curry. That's heaven. But I can't partake because I feel, you know, I'm a little bit sensitive to gluten now. So I can't enjoy any of this stuff too much. It's like, it's wonderful, but makes me bloated. The other day I ended up having to take like half a water pill just to get rid of all the fluid I was holding. I was like, and it makes me very uncomfortable. So I'm always asking myself, is it worth it, Maggie, to go through all that? You're eating the bread and stuff. And bread does it to me nowadays, yes. All right, so we have our squash ready to be added to the potatoes. So now I need to make like a vegetable version of something to offset. So I have some spinach that we're gonna put at the end, tomatoes, some bell pepper, and a carrot. Okay. Bell pepper, carrot, tomatoes. Let's see what else. I think I'm just looking for the green, right? And color, because you know, I'm obsessed with contrast and color. So let's wash these. And then the spinach is interesting because they come in these rough stems. And then, look at that, they even have that flower. But I keep the stem to make stock, so I don't throw them away. My late Panamanian aunt traveled all the Caribbean islands, and she told that Bajan food was the best. Bajan? From where? Where is that? You know, anybody who would travel to different places, I listen to you because you've done something, you've experienced something I haven't. So I would love to hear about that. But I love Trini food. I like Jamaican, but of course I think Haitian food is kind of the best. Barbados? Oh, I would love to try that. But again, you know me and my, I have my little bias. If they're using a lot of artificial thing to season that food, I'm not interested. If you're gonna get all the little cubes and stuff, not for me. Because I like to cook naturally. So if they're not using, I know we use a lot of herbs, a lot of thyme, but that's pretty much it. I saw even some African cooking. And one day I commented on somebody, I'm like, why do you have to put so much of that powdery stuff in there? Go get some herbs. It's probably better for you. You don't know what's in those things. You could say that's how I learned, yes, but if you've discovered something healthy, you can do a version of it. I get a lot of flack from Haitian ladies. I'm like, but this is, you don't need to be saying you're not eating. I'm like, yeah, you're going to eat all that grease and stuff. Go ahead. They get mad at me. I'm like, oh, well. Because, when I was doing research, I think when I was in grad school, I did research about something that even though people who are educated know about health, they still don't practice what they know to do. So it's like, what are you fighting for? And that's why, in this past month, that was Heart Health Month. And we're like, do you know what your risk of heart disease are? How many people in your family, have heart disease, have heart attacks and stroke? How many of our people have dropped dead of a stroke because they did not manage their blood pressure, right? Grind up herbs, oh, that's good. And, when I was reading about Tina Turner and how she had hypertension, but how she did not take her meds, she said, oh, I thought I was healthy because she looked good and she was an entertainer. When you talk about disease, something called genetics, your genes, you can't fight those. Yes, Trinidad does have a lot of Indian influence, the curries and Dalper, let me tell you. But how do they call that bread that they hit? It's like a pita or tortilla, and then they beat it with this, it's a skill. I see those chefs do it like that. I'd love to go and learn how to make that. But of course I can't enjoy it too much. It's too much flour. Black American food, well, I don't want to insult anybody's sensibilities, but there is a lot of grilling. They love grilled meat, like hot dogs and steaks and ribs. Ooh, ribs. A lot of that. They love macaroni and cheese. They love collard greens that is cooked with smoked meat, smoked pork neck, smoked turkey neck, and most of the food is unhealthy, unfortunately, right? But they love that, and they call that soul food. And then they'll have chitlin, which is like the intestine of, I don't do that. They're not into rice so much, but hot dogs, corn, what do they do? When they do around the holidays, cornbread dressing. They love cornbread, grits for the morning, and fish. Roti, yes, Maria, roti. Thank you. I would love for somebody to teach me how to make it, just like I'm going to learn to make Chinese dumplings, because I love dumplings, but I can't, like I say, can't have too much of it, or it's like a once in a while kind of thing. Now you see, I'm saving all these for my stock. So that's why flavor. Ooh, yes. Ooh. The wings are looking fantabulous. All right, another pack of, so I'm not going to do all of it. This is a pack of spinach for $1. I'm going to use half. So you can't use this type of spinach for salad. This is something you're going to throw in like a soup, or you're going to cook on the stove, because they're kind of hardy, right? And I wouldn't feel comfortable just eating them raw, because I don't want anything to be hiding under there, little bugs, and that's how you get sick. No, I think you mentioned that to me the other day. I've seen the Korean make it. Is it with like cabbage and other things? But it still seems like it needs to be fried. I don't eat fried food, except for fried fish that I have here like once in a while. I decided to stop eating fried food. That's why I bake my chicken. I don't fry chicken. I don't have a fryer. And I don't want to fry anything on the stove. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. I think that's enough. The rice smells heavenly. My kitchen smells like a Caribbean home. But I'm just going to taste and run because I have to go to that event. All right, let's put that back in. My love. You know, vegetables are like easy food, easily digested, healthy for you. Boy, I used to have to peel like buckets of carrots at the restaurant when I was at Disney, downtown Disney in Orlando. Ooh. The worst assignment was when they put me in the meat, in the freezer section where you had to, because you had to weigh the chicken breast or whatever portion. Everything had to be portioned. Oh, and then you're cold and it's wet. Ugh, I hated that. But I love to be in the vegetable section where I made salad dressings, you know, big buckets of it. I love that. You make mayonnaise. Yes, I love that part. Alright, so we have some yellow peppers. And everything's going to cook really fast because we don't want anything to be overcooked with our veggies. Never. It's a no bueno for me. Alright, I'm going to use half of that. Oh, let's rinse this. I'm getting so paranoid about these veggies. You know, I mentioned about the guy spraying the vegetable with the insecticide. In Europe, the food is okay. I go to Asia and the Caribbean. There's nothing to talk about European food. You know, I went to Paris and I was like, let me see. I mean, they were selling us, they serve everything with French fries. I'm like, what? And the food was okay. But you know, I enjoy the pastries. Oh my God! I remember one year we were staying in a hotel that was at the corner was a restaurant, and it was like around spring where we could sleep with our windows open. And in the morning, the whiff from the bakery would come and wake us up. That was torture. But of course, I found myself running there and getting a croissant. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, everything looked amazing. Ooh. I really enjoyed myself there. And then I go to London, and you go to Harrods, and Harrods had a whole floor where it was a bakery. It was a multi-floor building. People sold clothes and stuff at the bottom, and on top they had like a market. They had flowers. They had one floor where they did tea service, where you could book, which we did. You book for afternoon tea, and then they bring the tea things with all the sandwiches and the what do they call that? Not croissant, but scones. The scones. Oh my gosh, I lost my head there too. That's like crazy. You people are just. See, I was younger. I could get away with a lot of things. Now I can't. I cannot. Ooh, the rice smells good. Let me turn the heat down on that. Oh yeah, I think it's time for me to put the squash in the potatoes. See how yummy the potatoes look? So, I'm gonna go in there and add the squash and maybe a little bit more oil, herb oil, just to christen the squash. Yes. Ooh. When I say that cooking is like, it's art, because you are creating something, right? As I said, this is the only place I can be creative. So we're mixing again. And a little bit of turmeric. See? Eso. Yes. Oh my goodness. Now you see, you can do this with potatoes. However, whatever kind of potatoes you have. And then that makes it a very nice side. Right? Woo! Yes, baby. The squash, I think about 5 minutes. The squash is so good. And the chicken looks amazing. Look at that. So I'm gonna let the chicken 5 minutes, take it out and let it rest here. And then I gotta make that sauce really quick. All right, so here, we're gonna toss the veggies. Okay, this is done. Ooh. Yep, the rice looks like it's done. A little bit of oil. Alright, so now you're thinking, okay, what are you going to put in first? So we're going to do the carrots first, because it's probably the one that's going to take a little bit longer. Tomatoes are going to go last. Right? Alright. And I don't like the carrots overcooked either. You know, carrots are always a good addition because they're so beautiful in color. Yes. Okay. Now let's check the rice. I'm gonna take that out. And the bouquet. You see, I saved the rice because I was very careful. I put just a tad too much water, but I made sure that it was nice and dry before I covered it. Right? Because if you cover it when it's still wet, then you got a chance of making your rice pasty. All right, let's get that bouquet out. It's coming apart. All right. So here comes your rice. Nice flaky. All right. I don't like it to be pasty. Oh, but that's still a lot of rice. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Get myself in trouble again. All right. Let's give it a taste. All right. Put that over there. I'm going to leave it half uncovered because I don't want it to cook anymore. Now I'm going to move this to this burner because it's probably going to cook faster. All right. Potatoes are done, chicken is done, a little bit of veggie. Oh, and then what you need to watch is the sauce to make the wing sauce. That is important. Let me rinse this spinach. Now going to Cologne is not the safest thing because boy oh boy, the food there, not healthy. Maggie, how do you feel about the nightshade veggies? What is it? The nightshade veggies. I used to love eating them, but my doctor told me to try not to eat them much. What is the nightshade veggies? I have no idea what that is. Oh, nightshade veggies. I'm a fresh veggie kind of person. If it's in a can, I don't want it. Now, I even thought of, I was going to pickle some vegetables. And then I was like, why do I want to pickle the vegetables? I gotta put sugar and vinegar when I can eat it, just steam it, right? You know? Oh, eggplant. Oh, is what they call them, nightshade? I had no idea. I absolutely love eggplant. Oh my God, you saw me cook it last week, right? Is it last week or the week before? When I put it with the shrimp and the chayote, that was amazing. I love aubergine. Bell pepper, no. I love all of it. But you know what? As we get older, we do develop a little bit of, I know I do now with beans. You know, I'm Caribbean. We eat beans every day. But now, if I do anything with beans, it's like I feel a difference, right? So I have to be careful with those, that I don't have too much of it. It's because, and you're right. It has a lot to do with, you know, us growing older, and it's like, the body is like, I'm tired. All right, so now with veggies, you're always gonna have a little bit of seasoning, not too much. And then you have a little salt, pepper, and some acid. That's it. All right, so I just want, what's the tomatoes? I wanted to put a couple of tomatoes in here, yes. And you know, when I say I'm gonna wash these veggies, I take my scrubber with soap and water and I do that. Yes, I am definitely Caribbean. All right. So let's turn this down a bit. This is just, you want contrast, right? And sometimes during the week I was like, Maggie, you haven't had a lot of veggies. That's a no bueno. So I go and I do like a smoothie. Like yesterday, I cut up the my papaya, which I adore. Papaya and piñas. Oh yeah. And another thing I saw someone make, you know, I tell you guys that I do pineapple water for my smoothies, but this person said you boil the pineapple water, but you also put cinnamon, cloves, star anise, and ginger, and then he added flor de Jamaica, hibiscus flower. Now that makes an awesome tea. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do that. All right, so we're putting our tomatoes in here with the and then it is just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and squeeze some lime juice. That's all you need on these veggies, okay? Not a lot of stuff. Oh, look how pretty it is. You know, I get excited with food, right? I love eggplant. And if I got to the point where I couldn't eat it, I would be sad. Because you could do eggplant parmesan. You could put it in legumes. I put it in my ratatouille. I eat a lot of eggplant. Love it. All right, so let's squeeze some. And then you know what? These veggies are done because I don't want anything to be discolored or just overcooked. No bueno. Nope. So, I am good right here. All right, but I need this pan to make the sauce. You know what I say about you have an old pan that is raggedy, but it's like your fail-safe? That's what I have here. Look at this. Now, you know, if somebody puts that in front of you, you're going to try it because it looks pretty. Your brain sends a message. Look at this. See? Okay. I am from the both sides, Caribbean and Latin. Wonderful. But now in my 60s, I have to limit my beans. Yep, me too. And your nightshade veggies. I think the veggies have to do a lot with what we used to call diverticulosis, like a little irritation in the colon, where, you know, some people can bleed and all that. So you got to listen to your body, right? All right. So now, let's get the chicken wings out. Let them rest. Sí, señor. Sí, sí, sí. Yes. All right. And I think the veggies can, just let's test the squash. Because if the squash is done, look at these potatoes. Listen. Why would you want to eat boring potatoes, huh? You want it to be roasted like this. Oh, well, yeah. The chemicals are trying to kill all of us. Now, I think we need to give the squash a few more minutes. But the potatoes are good. They're done. 10 minutos. All right. So now for the wing sauce. The wing sauce, gonna need a generous amount of garlic. Turn this down a bit. Garlic, ginger, soy sauce, mustard. I did buy some Dijon. I was running low, and I went to the super kosher store the other day, and things were so expensive. I'm like, you're not gonna see me very often in that store. And I was reading something somebody posted today about how I'm gonna put a piece of foil on those wings. I don't want them to dry out. This person talked about what he calls super inflation. I don't know what that means. Inflation is inflation, right? And he's pretty much blaming the expat community for causing the superinflation. And I'm like, there's inflation everywhere. Now, I understand. Yeah, look at that, Gertha. Isn't that beautiful? You could just have that with the chicken wings and you're good. You got your protein, you got your veggies, no carbs. But anyway, he basically is blaming us for causing high inflation here in Panama. And then somebody said, aren't you an expat? So you're part of the problem too. I just love it when people are, making these comments, and I'm like, well, you're part of the problem. What are you talking about? So, okay, I need more ginger. So he went on and on about how we are causing prices to go up, and yes, it is gentrification. And wherever you go and you have people coming in, and yes, in some places it's worse than others, right? Ugh. But I'm like, stop pointing the finger, sir. No, I didn't respond because I feel like I don't need to engage with stuff like that when people are talking. I'm like, no. All right, so let's, chop some garlic. I think that's enough garlic right here. So I'm not sure what he expects people to do. I don't know. I said that recently I have felt like I've been gringo priced. I didn't used to feel that. Now I feel like when I go somewhere and someone gives me a price, I think they look at me and then the price changes. Reduced sodium soy sauce. I'm pretty sure they do, like in Reba Smith's and places like that. I have not personally looked for soy sauce because I only buy the dark soy and then I only use a little bit of it. And this one, it's not low salt. Sodium. Oh yes, it's got a lot of sodium. I won't tell you how much. That's why you don't use a lot of it. Right? And that's why I don't like soy sauce. I don't like Chinese food because they put too much of that stuff in there. But if I put a tablespoon of soy sauce in that much chicken, it's very well spread out. So just be conscious of how much. But I'm pretty sure they do have reduced sodium. But you know what I say? I don't believe a lot of the stuff people write on these bottles. I really don't. I have no faith. No faith. I mean, I have to have some. But I don't believe that the people looking at all this stuff have our best interests at heart. No. And I heard someone say one time, Western civilization is based on a culture of trust. And I had to think about that. And I'm like, that's deep. Because what it means is that whatever you are doing, as you move around throughout your life, you trusting someone. You get into a car, you crank it, you're trusting that this car is going to turn, the motor is going to turn. You trust that when you buy the car that they've done some safety inspections. You trust you turn the tap and you're drinking that water or you're cooking with it that somebody's watched. You see what I mean? You see how you get screwed? Because you believe that somebody really has your interest at heart. And sometimes they do, but they don't do all the way, right? That's the thing. So you're really trusting someone with your life. When you go eat in a restaurant, as I say, you're trusting that somebody is cooking your food in a safe way. Trust is part of the fabric of our culture. Otherwise, we would be, you know, what do they call that? Hold up in some kind of a dark place, you know, around the year 2000. There was that too. It's like, oh, Y2K, and the world is ending. And I remember vividly being in the street at 11 something looking for my son to make sure he was home in case Armageddon was starting. Yeah. Oh my God. And then when it happened, it's going to happen suddenly without warning. Like what's happening with some places now, you know, bombs are being dropped, and I tell you, you gotta look at this life. Don't hang on to it too tight, okay? All right, so let's see. I don't want to use my herb oil in here because I have enough herb in the chicken. So we're gonna use some olive oil, extra virgin, and definitely some butter. You need a combination. Or if you have ghee, ghee would be, that's clarified butter. Ghee, you know, I haven't bought it here, but like anything else, it's super expensive. Kind of like coconut oil. All right. So we're gonna put all that garlic in here. This is gonna be one of those that you have to watch, right? I think I'm gonna need this spoon, the wooden spoon for this. And now we're gonna do some ginger. Even though I put ginger in my marinade, but I love to put ginger in the sauce. And we're gonna toss those chicken wings in this sauce. Game changer. And I think it was one of my subscribers who told me about this sauce. He said, Maggie, try this sauce. I think it was a guy, I don't remember his name. And then he said, don't forget to put what did he say? Vinegar. I'm like, okay. And it came out so good. And last week it was Chinese New Year here. This weekend is Sabores de Colon. And Colon is a predominantly Afro-Caribbean area, so there's a lot of Caribbean influence. You know what they love here is what they call sows. Anybody familiar with that? Pig feet that's pickled and vinegar and vinegar, onions, and cucumber. That is a specialty here. People love it. They stand in line for it. I have yet to try it. But I pick it up and I look at it and I put it down. Well, you know, I have my octopus in the freezer. I haven't decided how I'm going to use it. And someone said the tentacles, you could add them to rice. Whew. I got to sum up the courage to cook that octopus. And you should have seen the faces of some of the ladies. They're like, oh my God, man, you did not warn me. They're covering their faces, you know. Anyway, I do that too with the worms that they offered me in Africa. I was like, I can't do it. All right, ginger goes in. That was a lot of ginger. But see, I don't mind it because I like ginger. Ginger is good for you. All right. Now we put, let me let it cook just a little bit. I love ginger, and ginger is abundant and very affordable here. More people are going to leave now because of the war in the Middle East. Leave where? Leave the Middle East? Well, they got caught in it. Bombs are dropping. And sometimes I sit here and I'm like, it could be happening here too. All right, Dijon mustard. You guys see? I'm gonna make this sauce, and later on I'm gonna have to get my whisk. Dijon mustard, soy sauce, vinegar, and honey. And he said, Maggie, don't forget the vinegar. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking of how much, you know, wing that I have to be able to coat them. So my vinegar, the amount of vinegar is going to be proportional to that, all right? And honey. I think I have another thing of honey. Oops. Yeah. Miel. Honey is called miel. Kind of like French. And again, if you ask me how much, I'm gonna say a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This one says Dijon mustard, but it doesn't have any grain. It says gluten-free, made with white wine. I like the grainy part. I'm missing that in my sauce. Going to catch on the replay. All right. I have another from, I understand. Oh, to Panama. Well, we've already had a lot of people come here. So, okay, yeah, we've got enough sweets, we don't need any more of this. And I think I'm just gonna put a little bit of herbs in here, the oregano. oregano. Yep, just a little bit. All right, that's it. Need to thicken a little bit. We're good. Okay. Right. Yep. Turn that off. All right. So we get to plate. The potatoes are done. All right. We're going to put the chicken in here and then toss them in the sauce. So if somebody's looking to snack on these wings, they can. Right? It's always good to let your meat rest. When you get them out of the oven, don't run and cut through them. Let the juices stabilize. Then you're not gonna have dry food. You know, all this sauce in here, I can add in there as well. So these wings are not dry, even though most people fry their wings. Well, I don't know if it's most people. But I know when you put it in that deep fry, that oil, and then, yummy. But we don't need all that oil. as we get older. And somebody said, it's not just old people who need to eat right. That's right. And I always say, don't wait till you have a diagnosis to take care of yourself. To say, oh, my doctor said no fried food. Well, decide for yourself. Don't wait for the doctor to tell you that. Right? Don't wait for the doctor to tell you that. If you need to lose a little weight, you know that. Nobody needs to tell you that. All right. I think I went a bit heavy on that ginger, but remember, I love ginger, so that is not a biggie for me. And then you just toss. So if you had like a tray, you just put there, and then you cut like some green onions or parsley as a decoration. Yes. Now I have to try it for you guys. Look at this one, the skin's falling off, so I'm gonna try this one. Woo! You put honey and vinegar, you have a winner, okay? Wow. I know I'm kind of torturing you guys when I'm tasting it, sorry. Go make it. Hola, Nelson. Because you know I seasoned this chicken really good, right? And then you put in all that, you put that ginger and stuff in there. All right, let's plate. So good. I went and found this plate. You know, I'm still chasing, I was taking a square plate, and I went to this store called Elise, and okay, let me see what they have. Okay, so we have potatoes, we have vegetables. So the vegetables are so pretty, they're gonna have to be on top of something, all right? And then we have a plate where we can center things. So we have the rice. We don't have to put the rice in the middle. So we can do rice, potatoes. Can't put the veggies on top of the rice, no. So I thought I would put the chicken around, put the rice in the middle, put the veggie on top of the rice, and then the potatoes we're gonna sprinkle, go around. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. All right. This is where the creativity comes in. So it's a big plate, so I'm gonna use this mold this time. And the rice is amazing. I know my neighbors are like, oh, I wonder if she's gonna give us some rice. That's a lot of rice. Woo. It is so good, you know, with that coconut milk in there. Yes, sirree. But you know, in places in the Caribbean, we eat way too much rice. Way too much. So if you go here in Panama, you're ordering meat and rice, they're gonna, it's like you have to say, ooh, yeah, enough. Okay, we got our rice. So now with the wings, I thought I would put, this one is a little bit not in the middle. Yep. Okay. I thought I would just put the wings, and I was just thinking about that the other day. I said, okay, let me see if I'm gonna do the wings like this. I was thinking about how to plate the wings. Ah! This is gonna be good. Okay, Maggie. Get your creative juices flowing. One more. So we're only using the drumettes. And then the potatoes. I think I'm just going to use the potatoes and not the squash. I think the squash would be kind of a distraction. So we're only going to do potatoes. Do the potatoes like right here in between the drumsticks. Ah, my goodness. Wow. Okay, Maggie. And when you are plating, you don't want the food to just be all over. You're just going for like center, right? Yes. My love. You know that, you see that dancing Chinese lady? Asian, I don't know if she's Chinese. I know we're watching the same thing. My love. Listen, ladies. Gotta play with your food. And you know, it's like you could see a little bit of the curry, but it's not curry. It is turmeric, right? Turmeric. Curcuma. Se dice aquí curcuma. No, that doesn't fit. All right. Nobody will get me down. Uh-oh. You dance with me now. Here come the veggies, come to mommy. Put the carrots and the tomato. Oh my goodness. Play with your food. Okay. Tomato. You know how you could see the chefs with the little, like clippers, whatever they hold, when they're putting the fancy little edible flowers? Now, I don't do edible flower, but I feel like I'm doing the same thing right now. Oh. Have you ever seen anything plated like this? No. That's the creativity part. You play with the food, and then now you're going to crown it with some espinaca. And remember, I always say you always want height, right? Wow. Espinaca. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. No. goodness. Aww. All right. So if I had a little bit of gravy left in here, it's not a lot, but I'm just gonna pour a little bit on the chicken because your idea is you don't want anything to be too dry. Wow. And I don't think I need to decorate with anything else. There is enough going on this dish. And I don't need to do anything else. I just want to put a little bit of gravy. Oh my word. I think I could put a piece of, yes. Wow. This is where the creativity comes in, guys. As I said, I do not paint. I do not play an instrument. I tried and failed miserably, but I can play with my food. Wow. The pièce de résistance. Oh my God. All right. Thank you for watching. I'm cooking the same thing today without the squash. Yes, yes. Look at this. You don't need to put anything else. And I want to say how much you would pay for a dish like this at a restaurant, huh? Look at this. Oh my. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for playing with me. You know I love to play on Sundays. So now I'm going to head to Cologne to enjoy. So I have food. I'm going to leave my food here and then go to Cologne. But I'm not going to have any rice. But I'm going to try some fish and some of the other delicacies that they have. She got to go, Nelson. Thank you so much. But yes, this is my dish today. Bye. God loves you. I love you too. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye-bye. So this is rice and peas with chicken wings, roasted potatoes, and a vegetable medley. All balanced, all good, homemade. Yes. You cooking the same thing? Gertha, that's wonderful. But you know, we do something different, and then the plating is the creative part. All right? Bye.